amazing efforts of incredible people. And we go ahead and find their viewpoints on things and talk to them and, get their views on things and to help arm us the most with truth. So do go ahead and like, comment, and share this video all around. Richard is just here with us for about 30 minutes or so. And we're just going to go around and we're just going to ask him some questions and have him introduce himself and go from there. So hi, Richard. Thanks so much for joining.
Yeah, hi, Ryan. Thanks for having me on today.
It's an honor. It's an honor.
Yeah, same here.
Thank you. Is there anything you'd like to say before we start the interview?
I would just like to go ahead and jump right into it.
I love it. Let's go dive headfirst into it. Let's make it happen. I love it.
Okay, very, very good.
Good. Alrighty. So, Quick Turtle Books, right? It's a massive, expanding, amazing company that has a huge amount of books that are so well represented, and they are incredible in value. I wanted you to go over how Quick Turtle Books came about and what its purpose was. Could you tell us that?
Oh, sure. It actually came about because of our relationship to seeing kids be put on drugs for ADHD. Our first book was a book relating to that subject, which was a uplifting book about kids deciding, along with their parents, not to go on those drugs. And that's how
beautiful.
Quick Turtle Books came about. The characters were actually turtles, and we called them Quick Turtles because they were very smart and very intelligent about the idea that rather than them having ADHD, they were just more intelligent, more active, and didn't want to be stopped.
I love that. That is such a cute and also a very sane viewpoint on things, and it's a very, very sane way of putting it. And I love how you said Quick Turtles, because now I understand why it's called Quick Turtle.
Well, thank you. That's exactly why it's called Quick Turtles.
Beautiful. So I also wanted to go over the purpose of it, right? So the purpose of the books. You have a lot of books out there, and they're amazing. They're well represented, and they also have amazing reviews. I wanted you to, touch on the like, what is the result you see of somebody reading one of the books?
Well, again, each book is, of course, different, but there's one book which is also a drug prevention book. It's about not taking marijuana, and another one about not vaping. It's just a story that relates to the effects of those things, and not necessarily preaching about it, just showing the road, that there's a better road than going down that road that they can choose. And of course, there's various subjects. There's one my wife wrote, which is about virtues and traits of how to live a better life. And a kid can just read it, and they can choose one of those virtues and apply it for the day. And then they have great illustrations. That book actually won an award recently, and the illustrations were done by a relationship between my wife and a woman in Italy, I believe it was. And it was a long process, but it came out great.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And I like how you and your wife are very dedicated and committed to that purpose. And you guys definitely write, you guys are definitely writing amazing quality books. and you guys really bring home peace, calm, and truth, and I love that a lot. And I think that's super great.
Thank you.
I also wanted to now the one thing well I found out about you and your wife through actually your wife, right? And I was like, whoa, this is amazing. You guys are incredible. And the reason why I think you guys are incredible is because you guys value the gift of a book. You guys value the viewpoint of a book and why it's so important. I can write books here and there all the time, but you guys take like immense value and immense time into that book and really make it beautiful. I wanted you to go over why you think books are a gift to another person.
Well, I grew up reading books. I mean, I love books, and that whole idea started when I was very young. I started probably, I wanted to write a book when I was 12. I didn't get it quite done, but by the time I was 14, I had it done. And what what I did with it was I would take it around to my neighbors and have them read my book. Of course, it was very crude, put it that way. It was not it was not was it worth a lot? No, but they got a kick out of it. You know what I mean? They got a kick out of, oh, who is this kid? I mean, what is he doing here? So what I learned from that is that a book communicates something that you normally uh, don't communicate. I mean, you don't sit down and talk to somebody about what's in a book normally. It's a different kind of conversation. So a book is a gift in a way that it presents something that one wouldn't normally receive from another person. Um, I doubt if anyone talks about with other people what's in our books. Do you understand? It's a gift to have
Definitely.
uh, that sort of thing come into your life, which isn't going to come any other way, from my viewpoint.
And I I value that completely, and I think that's definitely something people should keep in mind as well. Um, I mean I have to say even your books and how they resonate with kids, especially because those are that's the future right there, and the way you give them a chance to imaginate, and have their imagination happen and have them imagine things and have them really see it for themselves and be inspired. And I think that's very needed in the society. And it'll also ensure that people don't revert to drugs, that they don't see anything else of being a quote unquote solution. And, the books are very, very valued and they're important. And you gave a good viewpoint there. And I really want to, make that resonate with the viewers even more by just saying that what I just said. But I honestly do think that you and Mary are doing an amazing job, and I just want to say thank you.
Yeah, and I couldn't do it without Mary. She has that lighthearted ability to capture what I write in the illustrations, and I can't do that. Mine are a little bit more. Um, do I want to say solid? I don't know, but they're yeah, they're a little bit more concrete. They're not as light in delivering the message. Because I've illustrated a couple of them. I have one called Big Ships. It's about ships in the Great Lakes, and I illustrate it, and I enjoy illustrating it, but it's a different kind of illustration.
That's beautiful. I think that's really cool. I gotta get that book. I think that would be something I like when you said great ships. I was like, oh, I gotta read that one because I have this thing with
Okay.
ships. Just to get off topic, just a second. Yeah, but I have this thing with ships that are just they're so neat and they're so it's like a whole other adventure. It's a whole other exploration that I haven't been on yet, or maybe I have. But definitely
Oh,
not this lifetime. But I have to say, I mean, ships are amazing because it's free. It's freedom. It's freedom. You're exploring. You're very adventurous. You can. So anyway, I want to get that book.
Okay. Yeah, it's my
Yeah.
monster boat. Uh,
I gotta see that. I think that'd be cool. Um, Now the next
mm.
question I had for you is just based on what I've seen throughout social media in regards to Quick Turtle and how it's expanding, and how it's really helping a lot of people. Um, I see you guys at book fairs. Um, how do you like how does that go? Like, do you have a lot of people that come up to you and they're like, "Hey, I see you have a lot of books here," and do you guys have discussions with them on like um, how it may best help their child, or how the books resonate with people? Like, how do you get through that barrier of people like, oh, it's just another book? Like, how do you do that?
Well, always when you're live is different because you can engage them in just any kind of conversation. People love to walk up. I mean, that's a given. Um, Especially when it's a book and there's some a picture there or whatever. They do get drawn to what they like. And we have several books with lots of different pictures on them, so they will gravitate. They'll come up and they'll see something, they'll gravitate to it and pick it up. And what I always say is, don't be shy about it. Look through it, read it. Right now, you don't have to handle it like kid gloves or anything. Um, so they do. They start reading it and they get connected with it, and they buy it. That's how something sells itself, I guess.
I love that. I think that's very, very valuable, and I think that's something that people who are looking at either writing books or illustrating, or just expressing their communications. I think they do want to see that question be answered, and you definitely answered that, and I think it's really, really good. Now, what would you give to the viewers, or the people that are interested in becoming an author, or becoming somebody that illustrates and really expresses their freedom to express themselves, and be an artist and stuff? So what would you say to those people, and how would they start on this amazing journey?
Well, in this day and age, it's much easier because you can do it yourself. I mean, we didn't necessarily have plans of going this far with it when we first started, because we had a purpose with that first book. But once we did it once, I immediately wrote something else and we did it again. And there is a process of learning how to put these files together and all that if you're going to go that route, if you're going to start it yourself. Otherwise, there's avenues to write something and have, in this day and age, lots of companies are willing to put it together for you and make it into publishable files to be submitted to either Amazon or there's many now um, publishing places online that will publish your book for you and actually sell it for you through their venue, like Lulu, all these different companies where people can order the book. You don't even have to touch the book anymore. You don't have to have a garage full of books. It's all print on demand, which makes it so much easier. The other route, of course, is a traditional route where you write something. You don't even necessarily illustrate it, but you send it in or find somebody to represent you to try and get it published through a publishing house. And there's all kinds of small presses that do that too. It's just a lot harder that way. They tend to have an awful lot of submissions and stuff to that. So I just recommend, if you want to do it, write it And if you can't illustrate, find somebody to illustrate it. Go ahead, and if you can't even do the files, have somebody do the files for you. Submit it to Amazon, get it published, and then promote it yourself and see what happens with it. That's all one can do. Is there any guarantee anyone's going to sell a bunch of copies of books? No. We sell more books by going out and doing the events you're talking about, which are on hold right now. But those events, you see a lot of people. And once you see people and you put the books in front of them, that's when you get the sales. It's not easy necessarily getting the books in front of people. That's the trick of the game.
I love that completely. You answered that so well. I am now inspired to write more books.
Okay. And let me put a little thing in there. We're looking at helping people to publish books. It's not something we've taken on yet, but if you want to be the first person to try it, I welcome you to do it. Write yourself a book. We'll see. I don't know. Are you an illustrator?
Am I an illustrator? I'm a writer, but yeah, I write books. I've written 3 books, but I think that I'll have to reach out to you and Mary and go over that, because I think it would be really cool to see what the program that you guys run, and see how well it goes. And I think that a lot of people, after me knowing about it, I think what would be cool is following through that process on my own and kind of seeing it for myself. And then I'll definitely put in the good word with everybody else and go, hey, look, this is what's occurring. These guys are amazing. Get help from them. I think that'd be great. I'll reach out to you guys.
Okay, very good. All right.
Perfect. Now, also, I had a question. So a lot of people know you for Quick Turtle books, right? And I think that's amazing. Now, do you have a background story do you have a background story that you can give us, like, of how this all came about? Like, hey, one day, for example, like, hey, one day I was going through my life, and I, felt like I needed to, like, just something you can tell us that could get us through the rough times and the rough patches of starting a new journey or a new path or a new field in our lives, especially book writing.
Oh, goodness. So, because I've written since I was very young, I've written my whole life. Have I made it a career like I've made it now? No. For many years, I was a house painter. I had a contracting business to earn my money. And at the same time, I submitted my work, to other publishers. I sold some of my stuff and did various things, but it never made enough money for me to consider doing it full time, of course. Well, when you get to be my age, I'm 68. I'm not 30 anymore, uh, so I have
Well,
a
you
little
look
bit more
30.
security. Well, I have a little bit more security and the ability to do things that I couldn't do when I was younger necessarily, without it uh, yeah, putting me on the street, so to speak. And I had no desire to do that. um, so, but even now, do you realize at 68, most people wouldn't start something? It takes a determination on one's part to go, I'm going to do this, and then a decision to do that, and then making that decision stick there the whole time that all the other stuff is thrown at you. You get all kinds of barriers to actually bringing about what you're trying to bring about, from other people, from the environment, from, like I say, financial situations or whatever. Well, my suggestion is to persist, even if you have to do another job or supplement it or whatever, but keep your goal in mind. If that's your goal and that's your purpose, you will get more fulfillment out of overcoming those barriers than it just falling into your lap, because that overcoming of barriers is what makes a person in my viewpoint. I still got a lot of barriers. We still got a lot of barriers. We'll always have a lot of barriers. But that's what makes it fun in my book. Otherwise, I don't know why one would do it.
I love that. That is so great. I think that's so cool because you definitely did show that there are barriers and that you're pushing through them, and there still are barriers. And I think that's definitely needed because when people do aspire to become something, they do go through barriers. But it's always good to see that viewpoint, and the way that that other person is getting through those barriers, those stops and barriers, and really making it happen. And I do appreciate you sharing that with us. I think that was definitely needed. A lot of people do, especially me when I started writing books. Getting through that barrier of people going, "Oh, you shouldn't do that," or "Oh, you shouldn't do this," or whatever, right? And then different legal standpoints and stuff. But I also wanted to ask you, what do you say to the people that are, they doubt themselves, like they're doubting themselves in terms of, oh, can I write a book? Or, I really wanted to write a book, but my mom said no. Or, hey, I really wanted to write a book, but my coworker said I'm not good at writing books and I'm not good at this, or I'd never make it. What do you say to those people that are trying to push through that? Like, what advice can you give them?
I can relate to that very well. I had a friend one time, and he was almost illiterate, but he wanted to write a book, and I encouraged him to write that book. And he wrote that book, and it was actually amazing. The story and the plot and everything was wonderful. I actually would
Wow.
have taken it and rewritten it for him in a publishable form if he hadn't passed away. Unfortunately, before that could occur, he passed away. And if he could do it, anybody can do it. Again, the writing was not, um, his vocabulary was very small, so he had to use a small vocabulary, but he actually wrote something that I thought was amazing. I really did. So it's just a
Wow.
matter of do it. There's always editors, there's always people to help if it's a worthy story or whatever you want to call it.
Thank you. That's really inspirational, and I think people. I love that story. I love that story, and I love that. I love the fact that even if that person didn't have, like, all of the vocabulary, and didn't know how to write. I mean, here's the thing: he pulled off an amazing book that you even know it was amazing, and I think that's a very big validation too. And I think that was
Yeah,
just, yeah. Continue. What were you gonna say?
yeah, he actually wrote it out in longhand.
Wow.
And I read it in longhand. It was written in a like a journal. Do you know what I mean? Like in longhand.
Wow. That is, whoa. Man, that is, wow. I mean, you have to understand. I've tried to do that too. I've tried to, I mean, my arms get tired. I get kind of tired. I mean, you could say I'm cheating by using the computer, but there's no way I'd be able to write that much.
Yeah, no, I was pleasantly surprised. I'll tell you, it actually opened my eyes. I went, I never would have believed it. You know, I
That's That's beautiful. Wow,
Yeah,
that
and
actually
that
touched
took
me a
some
lot there.
determination.
Yeah, amen. Definitely determination, commitment, and determination. Really making it happen. He showed that, and
Absolutely.
you stood by his side, which was incredible. And I think that is definitely a view that people should have when they have to have people around them that'll support them, and there are people around them that can support them. And don't listen to the hate, like Richard was saying. Don't even listen to the haters. They don't know what they're talking about. They really don't. And you're an amazing person, and I think everybody should, aspire to just expressing themselves, doing what they, even if it's not writing, doing what they feel like should be done that's worthwhile, and that is definitely survival oriented. But just, I consider writers to be artists. I do consider that, and you're basically expressing yourself in an amazing way. And I think everybody should be able to be their own artist and do what they believe they should be doing in terms of expressing themselves. And I think you and Mary are a prime example of that. A lot. I think that is. And you guys with Quick Turtle Books, you guys are really showing that and paving the path to showing us that it is possible that you can have an amazingly successful company that's putting out great books, and that they're not robotic books at all. They're completely from the heart, and they're completely here. They are on paper. I have to say, if you guys, whoever's watching this, I want you to understand that I think what would be really cool is if you guys visited um, Richard and Mary's Quick Turtle Books site. Richard, what is that site so I can put it up on the screen?
Our main site is our website, and that's called booksmakebooms.com.
All right, booksmakebooms.com. Perfect. I'm putting it up on the screen. Amazing. What were you going to say?
And that website is our other part of Quick Turtle Books, and that's helping businesses boom with books. We fully believe in books as a conveyor of even a business message. They can be ambassadors for your business, and we've written books for several businesses. We've written a book for Canaf. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's a plant. It's a hibiscus plant that has properties that can help man in many different ways, and we're trying to get it to be a known plant, and so is the company that's promoting it. So Books Make Booms is geared toward helping a honey producer get a book out about their honey, or we're doing one called Fairview Berries. It's about a strawberry farm, and it's a kid's book again, but it's about their business. It helps their business by communicating their message.
Oh, wow. That's a whole other concept I've never actually thought of. That's really neat. That's wow. That's pretty cool. I like that
It,
actually.
it, it is. It's gaining some legs, and I've had other people that have other writers that do business writing. They just said that, well, I've never thought of that. you know, so yeah, I have a lot I have a lot of confidence and hope for the future with that.
And you two have my full support. So you guys definitely have my full support. And I consider you guys part of what I call the truth movement. And so you also have a large group behind you guys completely of over 100 people in different fields that are professionals. So you also have that underneath your guys' belt as well. I wanted to make sure you knew that, so that you knew that you had backup.
Okay, well, thanks. Yeah, I've seen a couple of your interviews, so that's like I've why I contacted you. because you're putting things out there that are very valuable to society.
I appreciate that. Thanks so much for saying that. I do feel that, I do know that you and Mary are very sincere with your communications. And I do really appreciate getting that from you guys. And I really do appreciate your support, both of you. I appreciate you. And yeah, you guys definitely, I have your back, and we all have your back. And I wanted to bring you up on here as well, because when you reached out to me, I had to say, there was no way I was going to pass it up.
Oh,
There was no way.
okay.
I was not going to pass it up. You know, Mary had reached out to me, and I went, "Oh my gosh, yes, please, let me reach out to him." And that's how it went. And I was very, very excited. I was very honored, and I feel like you being part of this movement, you and Mary, is an incredible thing to have two um, amazing, inspirational, and also just go getter duns part of the group. I think they're amazing, and I wanted to go ahead and just give you this time, Richard, to let us know how we can support Quick Turtle Books, and also anything else you'd like to add, so that we have the full data, and that we can also support you any way that you would like us to support you.
Well, the first thing, like I say, if people would go to our website, you can get information on there, and then you can always there's links on there to other places that we support also, and you can visit that and you can check that out. Um, we're very attached to Artists for a Better World. Um, we wrote a book for them. It's called The Quest We Share. Um, you know, buy the book. It not only helps us, it helps Artists for a Better World, and it helps society. It's about the goals of an artist, what the artist is doing for society, because the artist is very valuable. Their responsibility to society is a lot greater than most think, because you see every day kids mimicking artists and stuff, and if it's the wrong message, that's what they're going to mimic. They're going to mimic the wrong message. If it's the right message, they mimic the right message. So we fully believe in Artists for a Better World and their approach to creating works of art that are, you know, the benefit to society, not taking it apart. There's lots of art that starts taking it apart, and we try to stay away from that.
That's amazing. Yeah, and I remember having Barbara Cordova on, and we were talking about Artists for a Better World, and I know that how powerful that organization is, and how helpful it is. And you, Quick Turtle Books and Artists for a Better World are um, the two entities that should be supported completely. And you guys have amazing purposes, and they are so pro survival that I just believe that everybody should back them. I think everybody should support them. So I'm going to make a plea with all of the amazing viewers that I have on here, and I'm going to say that please do visit booksmakebooms.com. Now it's an amazing site. I think the website URL, I think it's amazing. Books make booms, definitely, but it's .com. So definitely go visit it. Go see if you can get a book that you like. Go check it out, and then also go ahead and see what other organizations they support and that they help, because it's not just them, but it's others as well. And I think that it's an incredible feat that booksmakebooms.com is supporting, as well as Quick Turtle Books. So I do want to just say that, and thanks so much, Richard, for letting me have you on. I'm definitely going to have you back. We're going to talk about another topic very, very soon. Um, so is there anything you'd like to say before we end? And thanks so much, viewers, for letting for letting us discuss what's going on with Quick Turtle Books and the gift of a book. Over to you, Richard.
Yeah, I just want to thank you again for having me on, and I hope your audience will check out some of our books. You know, they're not your everyday book. They're different, and they're all valuable in our minds. So I think that should make it valuable in other people's minds. If they weren't valuable to us, they probably wouldn't be valuable to anybody else. So if you like just little, most of them are rhymes for kids that are uplifting. Most of them have some sort of educational value to them. We introduce new words. We have glossaries in the back of the books, so that the words can be defined if a child doesn't know what it is, or even if the parent doesn't know what it is. I have a big vocabulary. So, you know, a lot of words in my books are not necessarily common words, but I try to keep it so the kids can learn new words. And I'll leave it at that.
Well, thank you so much, Richard. And everybody go visit that site, booksmakebooms.com. Go pick out a book. If you guys have any questions, reach out to Richard or Mary. They're on Facebook. Also, I'm pretty sure you can also reach out to them on that site. There are many different things you can do to help them out. If you guys have any questions about them and you guys, for some reason, cannot reach them, reach out to me, and I will definitely get that communication to them ASAP. And then other than that, let me know if you guys have any questions as the viewers, and then we'll answer them when they come in. And then Richard, thanks so much for being on here, and thanks so much for the honor. And we're going to end it on here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. All righty. Thanks so much, viewers. Bye.